response to this disaster is strong.
FEMA says it will not be deterred by misinformation and will continue to help those impacted by Helene. On Tuesday, the agency's disaster survivor assistance teams announced it was resuming normal operation after threats made against workers impacted their regular services over the weekend. 3 presidents are expected at today's memorial service for Ethel Kennedy. The 96-year-old Kennedy family matriarch died last week after suffering a stroke days earlier. Today's memorial service will be held in Washington, D.C. President Biden will deliver a eulogy at the service, and former Presidents Bill Clinton and Barack Obama are also expected to be there. After the opening bell, stocks are little changed. Michael Kastner, NBC News Radio.
Located in the heart of San Bernardino, California, the Teamsters Local 1932 Training Center is designed to train workers for high-demand, good-paying jobs in various industries throughout the Inland Empire. If you want a pathway to a high-paying job and the respect that comes with a union contract, visit 1932trainingcenter.org to enroll today. That's 1932trainingcenter.org.
NBC News on KCAA Loma Linda, sponsored by Teamsters Local 1932, protecting the future of working families. Teamsters 1932.org.
NBC News Radio, I'm Lisa Taylor. The sprint to the White House is picking up pace with less than 3 weeks to go until Election Day. Former President Trump appeared on a Fox News town hall in front of an all-female audience that was taped yesterday in Georgia. He'll also be in Miami today to take part in a town hall for Univision. Meanwhile, Vice President Harris will sit down for an interview with Bret Baier on Fox that will air this evening. She will also hold a campaign event in Pennsylvania. J.D. Vance will hold events in Pennsylvania and North Carolina, while Tim Walz will appear at a series of campaign receptions in Washington, D.C. Jimmy Carter has achieved his goal of living long enough to vote for Kamala Harris. Michael Kastner reports.
Carter turned 100 years old on October 1st, making him the oldest former president in U.S. history. 2 months ago, his grandson said the former president wanted to hold on long enough to cast his vote for fellow Democrat Vice President Kamala Harris in the upcoming election.
Lisa Taylor, NBC News Radio.
I'm Gigi Hanna, and I'm excited to be running for District 3 Yucaipa City Council.
As a former elections official and city clerk, Gigi is the best qualified candidate with 30 years experience in municipal government, public policy, and team building.
We can work together for a brighter future.
She'll bring a strong, logical, expert voice to the table for the people.
I want to hear what you have to say as well.
Gigi wants Yucaipa to be Yucaipa, not Bakersfield or Fresno. Gigi loves Yucaipa for its safe, walkable downtown, easy freeway access, and rural feel. Yucaipa's rural charm is important to her. She wants to limit higher density housing, fully funding public safety and making sure our mobile home parks have stable rents and safe conditions.
Let's make Yucaipa an even better place to call home.
Knowledge, experience.
Maintaining Yucaipa's rural charm.
Like Gigi Hanna. Vote Gigi Hanna for Yucaipa City Council, District 3 by November 5th. Paid for by Gigi Hanna for Yucaipa City Council.
What would you do if you had a broken bone? You'd go to the doctor and use your insurance, right? Well, what would you do if you have a serious problem with drugs and alcohol? Most people do nothing until it's way too late. Your insurance can help you get clean and sober with the assistance of a place like the Detox and Treatment Helpline. Many times, addiction treatment is fully covered. So why not use your insurance to treat your addiction problem just like you would if you had a broken bone? And with the Family Medical Leave Act, you're allowed to take time off by law, and your employer doesn't need to know the reason. So there are 2 good reasons. You've got insurance you can use for your addiction problem, and with the Family Medical Leave Act, it's completely confidential. Call now, 800-398-7414. That's 800-398-7414.
One of the best ways to build a healthier local economy is by shopping locally. Teamster Advantage is a shop local program started by Teamster Local 1932 that has brought together hundreds of locally owned businesses to provide discounts for residents who make shopping locally their priority. Everything from restaurants like Corky's to fun times at SB Raceway and much, much more. If you're not currently a Teamster and you want access to these local business discounts, contact Jennifer at 909-889-8377, extension 224. Give her a call. That number again is 909-889-8377, extension 224.
I'm Gigi Hanna, and I'm excited to be running for District 3 Yucaipa City Council.
As a former elections official and city clerk, Gigi is the best qualified candidate with 30 years experience in municipal government, public policy, and team building.
We can work together for a brighter future.
She'll bring a strong, logical, expert voice to the table for the people.
I want to hear what you have to say as well.
Gigi wants Yucaipa to be Yucaipa, not Bakersfield or Fresno. Gigi loves Yucaipa for its safe, walkable downtown, easy freeway access, and rural feel. Yucaipa's rural charm is important to her. She wants to limit higher density housing, fully funding public safety and making sure our mobile home parks have stable rents and safe conditions.
Let's make Yucaipa an even better place to call home.
Knowledge, experience.
Maintaining Yucaipa's rural charm.
Like Gigi Hanna. Vote Gigi Hanna for Yucaipa City Council, District 3 by November 5th. Paid for by Gigi Hanna for Yucaipa City Council.
Welcome to the Worker Power Hour with Randy Corrigan, a brand new show about labor and worker issues. The host of the show is Randy Corrigan, Secretary Treasurer and Principal Office and leader of Teamsters 1932, one of the largest public sector labor unions on the West Coast, representing workers in government and non-sworn law enforcement personnel. Randy Corrigan is a 30-year Teamster who first became involved in the labor movement by volunteering his time as an organizer with the Teamsters Union at the age of 21. Since then, he's helped thousands organize, mobilize, and achieve bargaining rights. He accomplished this by spending countless hours with brave men and women all over Southern California, in their living rooms, on the picket line, to bring workers towards victory. This is the Worker Power Hour. And now here's the host of the show, Randy Corrigan.
Welcome, everybody. Randy Corrigan and the Worker Power Hour. KCAA 1050 AM, 106.5 FM. Longtime organizer, first-time radio host, back here for another live show. I think this is a pretty long run for me in the last, I would say, 4 or 5 weeks or so. I haven't had any absenteeism, so I should get my gold star that I like to hand out to others that are on time all the time. But with that, I got a really good lineup today. Got a lot of good guests coming in. We had a really good show last week, very smooth show last week, and great guests. It was really awesome to see those people that came on. Most importantly, man, we got some really exciting news today. There's a few things I'm going to mention here later on in the show. Really exciting news. And then this morning we participated in something really inspiring and a lot of fun. I'll talk about that when we get to the news. But just as a quick recap from last week, we had the Colton Chamber of Commerce president on, Christina, and her board member to explain what the Colton board of the Colton Chamber of Commerce board does for Colton and the relationship between us and them. In addition, we had Kalela on. She did a phenomenal job of explaining what role she plays and the fact that she just was named the Change Champion for Black Infant Health, and the resource in which she provides for the community is so valuable, and it's so incredible. It's great to hear. And it was great to hear her excitement and how excited she was to come on the show and talk about how important that job was and how much she gets to help those that are in the community, especially those that are in need. And her job is an employment service specialist. We also had Jenna Guzman Lowry on and Valerie Tabor, both running for local office in Redlands. Their energy was off the charts. Got a lot of comments from the listeners that really enjoyed the energy, the exchange. We should have them back on just to kind of riff off of things that are just going on in the community and labor and how we can synergize with each other and help the community out collectively. And again, it was a pleasure having them on. So with that, let's move to the next part of our show, which are live shout-outs. We have a short list this week. That must mean nobody's listening to us live. Just joking, kidding, right? See, you're supposed to, Marky Poo, you're supposed to have the funny, the cheers or the laughter as a background. There, I don't know about the cheers. Maybe it's something funny. My bad. That was all me. That was not on Mark, but I see how quickly I tried to blame him. Anyway, live shout-outs this week. We have ARMC security officers for Healthcare and Safety Week. They're listening in live at ARMC. Really appreciate the work you do. It's a very tough job being a security guard at a hospital. Imagine the things that you have to deal with and run into. We really appreciate the work that you do, and I'm sorry if the general public and everybody else doesn't appreciate you as much, but we do, and we appreciate you as proud Teamsters as well. City of Needles, as always, we love the fact that we have so many members out in the City of Needles that are listening live that far away. Really appreciate it. Jesse Fergasso spent countless hours this past weekend to fix the roads. Apparently there's a little bit of overtime on the weekend, and Jesse was out getting it done. So great job, Jesse, out there making it happen. Tina Avalos is at the Redlands TAD. We also, Amazon drivers, we have a ton of Amazon drivers throughout Southern California listening live. They actually did something pretty amazing this morning. I'm going to talk about it in our news in a few minutes. And we have some Kaiser nurses in the city of Palm Desert listening in live. So give yourselves a round of applause for listening live. And all the rest of you that are listening live, you want us to do a little shout out for you, just send us a text. I'm surprised my phone hasn't lit up yet for those for those of you that think I missed you. The next thing I'd like to go to is our 3 Teamster jobs. These ones are really, really interesting and really cool. Shout out to Carlos Gonzalez for usually getting these. I think these ones are actually Robert have put them together. But just as a reminder to Carlos, we won't forget about you if these were Carlos? All right, well, these were Carlos. Carlos Gonzalez, thank you. Shout out. These are really cool and really interesting. Museum educator. These proud 1932 members educate the public on various subjects depending on the museum's subject matter. So obviously, if you've ever been to a museum, you know that sometimes they change the subject matter or they change some of their exhibits, and they create the content and give tours to not only educate our kids, but also us adults. For those of, I personally love museums. I love to I like the History Channel and all the Discovery and all that, and you just kind of sit there and absorb that information and take in the past or take in how something works or how something evolved or whatever it is that you're taking a look at that particular moment. But we really appreciate our Teamsters 1932 members that are museum educators here out in San Bernardino County. Thank you for the work that you do. Also, the museum exhibit fabricators. Teamsters 1932 members make the exhibits in a museum come to life by building the exhibit to showcase various topics. It gives a visual to the public. And so the next time you're at the museum in San Bernardino County, not only give a shout out to Teamsters given the tour, but also recognize those that made the exhibit really come to life, the exhibits you're taking a look at that particular moment. So museum exhibit fabricators, thank you very much. You guys are amazing. Really appreciate it. And here's my personal favorite. We ought to have a lot of these. I think every office should have these as something for fun. Polygraph examiners. Yes, Teamsters Local 1932 members are the ones conducting polygraph tests. Hopefully you never meet them while you're working. Hopefully it's just a membership meeting in line, at the membership meeting in line for tacos. But I think you could have some fun with this. You know what I mean? No, I got a few people shaking their head. No, you don't want to get caught in all your lies. Like that's not good. Like you could see how far you can push it, right? No. Okay. I got everybody like really shouting this thing down. So, hey, Carlos, good one on this one. This one's really, I make a motion that we have a polygraph at the office, and we use it for entertainment purposes only, not discipline purposes. We only use it for entertainment purposes only. And can you imagine the fun that we could all have with that? Again, I have some. No, go ahead, Mark. Go ahead. So you're an ixnay on the polygraph A, Mark? No for Mark. Okay. That means you're lying to me, man. Like, you guys are showing your cards here.
I'm not going to get caught lying.
You should be like, no, let's bring the polygraph. Sure, and then break it when it gets there or something. I don't know. Exciting news coming. I just I'm not going to let you forget that we got some really exciting news coming. So in the local 1932 news, this past weekend was an extremely productive one. We had activities going on everywhere. I think the coolest one, the 1932 bus went halfway up California, went all over the place, did some member-to-member walks. We had Lorena Gonzalez on our. Yeah, there it is. There's the background. Thank you, Mark. We had Lorena Gonzalez, who's the head of the California Federation of Labor, on the bus with everybody, with all the other unions, out going door knocking for a number of candidates, very strong labor candidates in the area. And we really love the fact that the Teamsters Local 1932 bus was able to kind of cart everybody around. It's kind of why we bought the thing, was to mobilize people. And so for our members and for elected officials or for other labor officials to get out there and make something happen, it's phenomenal. We also hosted another great volunteer organizing training at the local union this last weekend. A shout out to Rich Smith and Pete Sierra at the local union for continuing to host those, as well as the organizers have been out smashing. I call it smashing. That means they're really active. The organizers and volunteers did an amazing job over the weekend in the Amazon space. It's just incredible. Moved hundreds of workers in this space over the last few days, and that came to a head actually this morning, where dozens and dozens of them got together up in Victorville and demanded recognition on their employer at the Amazon facility in Victorville. And so, shout out to them. Amazing to see the energy in them. It's amazing to see the excitement in them and how they look around and they kind of see that everybody is supportive and that they're not in this alone anymore, and that they've got support. They got one another. And what has been cool over the last few days is that they realize that how many other people in their own facility actually support them, and that everybody's kind of quiet about it for a long period of time. And then now that they've kind of come out and been public, they really recognize that it was a much bigger movement than they had originally thought. And 'cause sometimes you get into that space and you think you're all alone, and they realized today that they weren't all alone. And boy, did they respond in kind. And for those of you that have Twitter, X, or social media or anything, there's a ton of great videos that are circulating right now connected to our account, right, Robert? There's a ton of great stuff that's circulating showing what these workers did. And watching them come out of the building, watching them literally walk out of the building after they had demanded recognition, demanded that Amazon recognize their right to have a union, demand that Amazon fix a number of these issues that they're facing in their workplace. To see them once they exited the building and what a relief and how excited they were in that space is exactly why many of us do this job. We really, it's special and it's precious and it's amazing. And I hope that everybody can experience that moment at some time in their lifetime. So the next thing that we're going to be doing is we're going to be hosting a watch party election night at the local union at Teamsters Local 1932. And so I know that this time of the year everything's frantic and emotions are high and people are arguing and some people aren't talking to each other because they're sometimes on the opposite side of the spectrum when it comes to some of the politics. But local politics affect you more than just about anything does. And what we're going to be doing is having a watch party there. And one of the reasons we're going to be having a watch party at the local is we're proud to announce that the radio station, all the stations here are actually moving to the property over at Teamsters Local 1932. We are so excited for this moment to be able to bring radio stations back to downtown San Bernardino. As we said before, we're transforming San Bernardino County, the Inland Empire. We're transforming the approach, and we're bringing things to downtown San Bernardino, and we're challenging other businesses, other organizations, just like we do with our car show and all the other events we do in downtown San Bernardino. Don't abandon it, make it better. Instead of running away from the problem, do everything you can to make it better. And we're really excited about how they're going to be on the property there at 1932, and they're going to be able to they're going to enjoy additional space, additional resources. And I think it's going to be a great partnership, and it's going to help us expand our brand even more as time goes on. And so congratulations to all of those radio stations at coming over and joining the Teamsters 1932 family in a very, I guess, a very intimate way. We're going to be right on the same property together and helping each other even more. And so in broader news, I'd like to point out that union election petitions have doubled since 2023. And so it appears as if that more and more workers are wanting to organize and more workers are wanting to have respect on the job. And it's great to see that those numbers are up. And not only are the number of filings up, the even the number of filings being up doesn't capture the amount of wins that are happening too. There's even more, the percentage of wins. I don't have the number in front of us. The last time I saw it, it had risen substantially and exponentially. And then more and more workers are doing what happened this morning, which is not just filing for union election, but also demanding recognition and taking a position that employers respect their choice on the job and not get caught up in the bureaucratic process of an election that in a lot of situations is not necessary, especially if the employer is going to play a game with it and not respect its outcome. So that's great and exciting news. We also are reporting that Boeing's labor strike is so bad that the U.S. Labor Secretary just had to fly to Seattle to help. Boeing strike began after workers rejected a 25% pay raise and demanding much more in other benefits as well. And so Boeing's financial woes include job cuts, plane delays, and potential credit downgrades. And so the U.S. Labor Secretary Judy Sue is in Seattle to try to mediate and settle the issue with the Boeing workers and try to get the strike to resume, talks, get everybody back to the table and kind of try to find some resolution. Boeing's obviously been in the public eye. They've had a lot of challenges here recently, and I'm assuming that the workers, this is at the heart of that, where they're trying to make sure that some of these things change in a very positive way. When it comes to IBT, International Brotherhood of Teamster News, we got some really cool, more Amazon stuff to update. The Amazon Labor Union and International Brotherhood of Teamsters Local 1 held a solidarity rally today and cookout outside of the JFK warehouse in Staten Island to kick off an escalating campaign to force Amazon to come to the table and negotiate a Teamster contract. And so that whole campaign there in New York is getting bigger. It's growing. There's a lot of public support, a lot of elected officials that are being supportive, and obviously we'll keep you up to speed. I happen to know a little bit about that subject here. Teamsters at Mill Creek Township School District just ratified an historic first contract after voting overwhelmingly to become Teamsters at Local 397 earlier this year. Nearly 170 secretaries, nurses, and education assistants from Mill Creek Township School District have taken the historic step of ratifying their first ever contract. This agreement follows more than 1 year of organizing and 9 months of bargaining with the school district. And so congratulations to them. And then obviously what's all over the Teamster news is what I talked about this morning, is that the Amazon Teamsters in Victorville just demanded recognition. So great. It was great, great to be there, great to see it. And it's kind of cool to see it pop off everywhere in the news or on social media as time goes on. And 60% of the union elections were won in 2023. Thank you for finding that figure for me, Robert. Really appreciate it. And the number is actually increasing as time goes on. So, more and more workers realize that that's the pathway. The only way they're going to hold their employer accountable is for them to organize and for them to get a union contract, especially with some of these big corporations. And so with that, I get to transition this last segment, at least at the first half of the hour of the show. It is the Teamster Advantage partner. And our Teamster Advantage network is comprised of more than 1,000 small businesses. And we're in over 26 chambers of commerce throughout the Inland Empire. And this is a program that I'm particularly proud of because we've really built a strong relationship with the community and small business in the area. And we're just trying to promote them in a positive way. We don't charge them at all for what we do. We believe that those that are running small businesses are part of the working class and they're doing the best they can to compete. It's hard to compete with these e-commerce giants and big box stores, and they get all these crazy tax breaks and you get all these incentives, and it makes it easy for them. It's really hard for small businesses. So this is a space where union workers who typically make more money than non-union workers. We want to encourage them to use their money in this space first. And if you can find what you're looking for with a small business, it's going to be way better for your local community than it is to do it somewhere else. And so I have the special privilege today of introducing a Teamster Advantage partner that I've known for a very, very long time. And she, and Kevin, specifically she, being Taylor, is super nervous, and so I have got to actually try to break the ice here. And so I figured what I might do is bring her dad on, because I actually know her dad, and we'll do a rat. No, I'm telling you, we all got great stories about you. You know, it'd be hard for us to keep them all clean because most of them are a little on the rough side when it comes to the detail. But with that, I have Taylor Burkhofer, and I have Kevin. Kevin, so it's TK Avenue Retail and Collectible Gifts, correct?
It's TK, I'm correct.
Okay,
yes.
so Taylor, why don't you talk a little bit about your small business here?
Well,
you can't tell stories about us yet. I'll ask about those, especially me and your dad.
Well, first, I'd like to say thank you for having us on the show. This is such an honor. Even though I am nervous, we'll get through it. I did used to work for those big box stores, and it wasn't union, and I wasn't treated right, and I didn't like the way I was treated, so I wanted to go in business for myself. So I came to Kevin and said, what do you think about starting our own business? I love Disney. I love Loungefly. I am my own collector. And so we just were very persistent in starting to try to sell Loungefly, and we got approved, and we're officially licensed. So
what's Loungefly? I think of Loungefly like somebody at the bar that's hanging out on a stool or something.
So Loungefly, it's probably something you see more often than you think. Everybody has one. They're cute. Disney.
I don't have one.
Oh, I bet Jackie does,
yes,
though.
I'm sure my wife does.
Yeah, so they're backpacks and crossbodies, particularly backpacks, decorated Disney, Harry Potter, horror, just any fandom that you can think of. And super cute, new designs every month. We drop pre-orders every month. And like I said, everybody has one. There's not probably one household that either a kid doesn't want one or your wife doesn't have one. They're even for men as well.
Now, you have a shop up in Idlewild, right?
Yes, we do. We do.
Tell us about that. That's a nice little community up there.
Yes. I actually grew up going camping in Idlewild every weekend, so it means a lot for me to have a store with my husband up there. We are open.
You married this guy?
I did.
I know. I was at the wedding.
It took long enough.
Yeah, too long. But it's finally happening. So we're open Thursday to Monday. We're closed Tuesday, Wednesdays. And a funny little fun fact about Idlewild, the mayor of our town is a dog. And he's actually famous. He's been on the Ellen Show. He's done commercials with Ryan Reynolds. So you definitely have to stop by and meet him and take pictures with him if you come up to Idlewild. But yeah, we're a little quirky town up there, little tiny small shop where you could get our brands. We carry Loungefly, Buckle Down, Cake Worthy, just all fandom.
Now I know that you come to some of the functions and you have a booth and you'll bring all of your stuff to a booth too,
yes.
Right?
Yes. So we actually just did Morongo Powwow. We were out there for the weekend. We do the Teamsters Car Show. We love that event. Super fun. We do some things throughout the year.
I'm getting text messages from people that want me to buy stuff right now.
Check out tkab.com. Code Teamsters, you get 15% off. You can also come in store, and our worker Jess, she runs our store. She's our manager.
Amazing, yeah.
She's amazing. You'll fall in love with her, and you'll want to come up just to visit her. Just show her your little card, and you'll get the 15% off in store as well.
So I've been kind of razzing your dad and Mark and everybody to get you on the show for like about a month and a half, 2 months.
Probably longer.
I'm like, how come, what's the deal here? Like, I've known her for like, since she was a kid.
Yes.
And now I can't just get her to come on the show and talk about her little business.
So yeah, I'm really good at communication, except when it comes to Mark asking me to be on the show. It's easy with social media.
You're doing fine.
Thank you. I'm trying.
You're doing great.
With social media, you can film the same thing 30 times and you just post it one time. And when he said it was live, I was like, I don't know if I can do that. But we're here. We're doing it.
Well, you should try running a live show for 2 hours.
Yeah, no, thank you. I'll pass on that.
Yeah, I do. Sometimes I walk out of here with a pretty big headache because I'm like, yeesh, you can't.
Yes,
I can't.
yes.
First of all, I can't cuss for 2 hours.
Yes.
That in itself is challenging.
Yeah, I can imagine. I'm a cusser too, so it's hard.
So, Kevin, anything you want to talk about as far as?
I would just like
or do you just do what she tells you to do?
For the most part, yes. But I would also like to thank here the
You're
whole
going to be
team.
married a long time if you follow that.
I know. Well, that's the plan.
By the way, you guys had a beautiful wedding. It was
Thank you.
amazing. It was a ton of fun.
Thank you.
Really appreciate the invite, by
Yeah,
the way.
we appreciate you coming.
thank you
It
for
meant
coming.
a lot to us.
Yeah.
Even though it was really hot, but it was amazing.
Yeah.
It's all right.
It was in July. It was very hot and sweaty, and it was definitely tough for the most part. But after the ceremony, we all got to relax a little bit and had a couple drinks, and it was getting a lot smoother after that.
And you guys were in the back of the truck selling stuff out of the back, trying to move your. I'm just kidding.
I'm always looking for an opportunity.
Yeah, you're
Take
trying to
my
move your
phone.
product.
Here you go.
Hey, man, you guys want to
Come
buy some
on.
stuff?
Yeah.
You want to buy some
Christmas
lounge
is coming.
flies?
And they're everywhere. Everybody thinks that it's just a Disney thing, but now that we've been here, if you start paying attention,
I'll see
you'll
them,
start
yeah.
seeing them. Everybody has one.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, my opinion, I prefer them over your name brand, Michael Kors, Louis Vuitton, all that kind of stuff. I'd rather have
And
lounge
it
fly.
also makes it a little bit more personal as well, I would say.
Yeah, you get to show your personality
Yeah.
with rocking your lounge flies, match them to your outfits.
Hmm.
Yeah, and he's great. He acts like he doesn't like to be on camera and social media and all that, but he loves when we're places and they're like, "Oh my God, I saw you on Instagram," and I tell him what to do and how to do it, and he's like, "You really want me to do that?" But then cracks up at the videos. So
Yes.
check our social media out; it's pretty funny.
So, what's your social media handle?
It's at @TKAV_. And that's all social media.
Say that one more time.
At @TKAV_.
Okay. All right. Well, I just learned something that lounge flies aren't what I thought they were, that there's something different. And you said it's a 15% discount for
Yes.
Teamster Advantage partners.
Correct.
That's a great discount.
Yes.
No, and thank you. We really appreciate that. And how cool is it to be so cyclical, to grow up in a Teamster household like you did with your dad, right? And then obviously, he was a Teamster. And then now all these years later, you're running a little business and the Teamster family and the Teamster community in the world is connected, whether you're at the car show or you're at any of our events, or now you're on a radio show that we have, right? You see our billboards and all that cool stuff.
Yes.
What's that mean to you knowing that you're part of this big Teamster family?
It's amazing. It truly is a family. And growing up, being in a Teamster household, I don't think you realize how amazing it truly is until you become an adult to learn to appreciate it. When I was an adult on my own and I wasn't as involved and I had to get on my own insurance because I had to turn 26 and I'm like, man, this is what this is
This
about.
is expensive.
Yeah, like I miss being a Teamster with my dad. So it's really great to be able to be an adult and incorporate it into our lives again.
What's your favorite moment as a kid and Teamsters, like functions, picnics, events?
I like the Easter event.
Oh yeah, 63.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a pretty phenomenal event.
Yes, that one's fun.
I would try to duplicate it and steal it from 63 if I could at 1932, but I can't because we don't have the same setup there. But for those of you that have never been to it or seen it, and you experienced it as a kid, didn't you?
Not as a kid,
Not as a
but
kid, just
I
as
got
a young
to
adult?
experience it through my brother's eyes. So
Oh,
that
there
was
you
pretty
go.
Fun,
Oh,
yes.
that's right. Yeah.
Yes.
So, imagine thousands of Easter eggs being sit out there in a big old park and hundreds of kids being held behind this a line, a tape of saying you got to wait here until a certain time, and these kids, hundreds of kids, are just sitting there waiting, and you're just about ready to get frantic. They're just about ready to get frantic, and they can see thousands and thousands of eggs, and they're all plastic, and they got stuff in them. And they got candy, they got money, they got all kinds of different, cool little gifts and gift cards and fun stuff. And there's literally thousands of them, and they swipe through those things. So I think it's like 2 minutes. Yeah. Like, it is so incredible to watch once the kids get released. It's like, release the Kraken, and then all of a sudden, boom, hundreds of kids are just mobbing the park, and it's just a ton of fun to watch. Get out of their way. Yeah. My kids always point out the Christmas stuff, and then the picnic in the summer stuff. So, but Christmas, Santa, being able to get a gift from Santa, a little gift from Santa and stuff like that. So
it's amazing.
So for me, it's cool to watch this kind of stuff.
Yeah, through their eyes. That's what's cool with my brother, is I get to live it through his eyes, and even all the family members. We bring the cousins and the siblings, and they have a blast with doing that.
Scott, how come you didn't bring her to the Easter stuff when she was a kid? See how I'm stirring this up already? We may not have done it. That may not have been going on at that time.
I don't think so.
I don't know. I figured I'd do a nice little dig. Is there any funny stories you want to tell, or anything you want to tell the public about your dad?
Oh, where do I start?
That's clean. First of all, it's got to be clean, because I've obviously we've all known each other for a very long period of time. We've been to the river together, and we've done a lot of things collectively together, and so we've got some stories we definitely couldn't tell on the air, but we also, I'm sure you got to have something funny about this guy.
I'm sure I have so many. I can't come to one right now. I can tell you he's my rock. That's why he's here right now, because I couldn't do this without him. So it's hard to come up with something funny on the spot right there, because I just am so thankful that he's here supporting me in my nervousness.
I want you to talk smack about it.
I can't. That's my dad. That's my heart and soul right there.
All right. I can appreciate that. That's good. Scott, anything you want to say? How proud are you to watch this? Yeah, he's screaming proud. He's over here, sitting over there filming it, or not filming it, recording it. He tells you how old I am. Film, Anyway. Kevin, anything you want to say before we wrap this segment up?
I would just like to say thank you for having us. We really appreciate it that we're able to come here on your show and talk about our business and a little bit ourselves.
And I just want you to know, I really appreciate you guys. Whenever you're at functions and you're ever, you got a booth, whether it's Stagecoach Days or whatever it is that you all are doing. We really appreciate how positive you are about the Teamsters too, because even though you're not technically Teamsters, you're part of the Teamster family. That's right, it's part of your blood, and you're always doing nothing but promoting how great the organization is and how great the network and the community is. So, thank you for doing all that, and it just goes to show how precious the Teamster family is. It's obviously been great to me my entire adult life, and actually most of your life.
Yes.
Actually, your entire life.
Yeah, my entire life.
Right, Scott? Her entire life. Right.
I'm actually closer with my Teamster family than I am with some of my own family. So it's a true family in the Teamsters.
Well, we're proud of you. We're proud that you're being successful in your small business, and it's good to see you doing something you enjoy doing, because that's the cool thing about this program too, is we help support small businesses that people are really inspired to do, and it's something they enjoy doing every single day and that they have fun with. And so with that, thanks for coming on. This is Randy Corrigan in the Worker Power Hour, KCAA 1050 AM, 106.5 FM. We are going to go to a quick break and transition into the next part of the show. Once again, thanks to TK Avenue and Collectibles for coming on the Worker Power Hour.
Thank you. Are the sounds of MC Rawface and DJ Easy Rock. Hit it!
I wanna rock. go, cuz. It takes two to make a thing go right. It takes two to make it out of sight. It takes two to make a thing go right.
Randy Corrigan here, back with the Worker Power Hour. I really appreciate the music. I know I'm going to get some emails and some text messages on your choice of music. That the music comes through pretty. It's a nice eclectic choice, and it's got a nice little beat to it. And so here we are. We've actually got a few guests coming on. Again, Randy Corrigan with the Worker Power Hour, KCAA 1050 AM, 106.5 FM, and Mark. Do we have someone on the phone? Who do we have on the phone?
We have Lisa Middleton on the phone.
Yeah, I just got a text from somebody that said, man, the music is jamming. So some people like your music. I'll get a couple of emails too. So with that.
I have Lisa up. Lisa, are you there?
Lisa Middleton.
Hey, Randy, it is a pleasure to be with you.
Well, it's great to have you on the show, Lisa. Why don't you take a quick second to introduce yourself so that everybody knows who's on the show. Welcome to the Worker Power Hour. We have a long list of individuals that want to get on the show right now, so we've snuck you in here, and I'd like to give you a few minutes to talk about what's going on. Great to have you.
Certainly, Randy, thank you. Lisa Middleton, I am currently on City Council in Palm Springs, but I am running for California State Senate in the newly drawn 19th district that goes from Palm Springs and the Coachella Valley through the San Gorgonio Pass, Redlands, Loma Linda, Grand Terrace, all of the mountain communities, out to Apple Valley, Barstow, Baker, and on to the Nevada state line, including all of the Morongo Basin. And I am the pro-labor Democrat running against an anti-labor Republican.
What makes you pro-labor, Lisa? That this is, it's always, try not to take offense to what I'm about to say, but man, I can't count how many times over the years I've had somebody come to me and say, I'm pro-labor, and then we ask them a few questions, and they're not quite so pro-labor.
I'll give you a couple of bona fides. In Palm Springs, after I got elected, along with one of my colleagues, we passed the first project labor agreement in the Inland Empire.
That's a good start. Yeah, absolutely. Anything else?
I have supported labor all of my life. I come from a family of labor. My father was an iron worker. I have an uncle that was in the plywood manufacturers union, another uncle that was in the Boilermakers union, another uncle that was in the laborers union, an aunt in the communication workers union. My wife was in the nurses union. My father-in-law was United Auto Workers.
So you obviously were surrounded by individuals that it impacted your life having a labor household. And what stuck out the most in those scenarios where you realized being part of a union and labor was helpful to those households?
So, the first awareness that I really had was a sad one, but it was a powerful one. When I was about 11 years old, my grandfather, who had come to California during the Dust Bowl, brought his family out. He was in his early 60s. He was working in a cotton mill, and he had been one of the organizers that helped start a union at that mill. And he got rewarded. While he had seniority, they managed to put him on a graveyard shift working alone. And got caught in some equipment, lost his right arm. And we were always told in the family he was being punished by working alone, and it cost him an arm.
Yeah.
You don't forget things like that.
You sure don't. You absolutely don't. Sticks with you your whole life, especially when you see how hard people work their entire life to try to provide for their family, right? And then you see an environment like today where corporate America creates these pathways that make things easier for big business and big corporations, and then they try to villainize everybody else, try to kind of get everybody to fight among one another for the peanuts left over. But the point is it's time for us to start to hold those corporations more accountable. What is it that you think you can do running for state senate there in California in this district that would be supportive of labor? Are there some particular items that you want to carry up the flagpole?
So I'm very fortunate. I'm the first person in my family who got an opportunity to go to college and graduate from college. I went to work for the state of California in the workers' compensation system, spent 36 years there. I have seen how badly people can get hurt and get injured in the workers' compensation system, and how much they struggle to make sure that they get the benefits that they are entitled to when they are injured. So things that I'm going to be doing is building off of 36 years of experience in the system to know how to ensure that workers in the workplace are treated fairly, treated with respect, and most importantly, are paid a living wage that provides health care and health care security to their families. One of the issues that comes up over and over again that I saw in the workers' compensation system is the difficulties that arise because of employers, more often than not smaller employers, paying people under the table, off the books, and providing them with absolutely none of the legal protections that the system is designed to cover and include.
So what differentiates you between you and your opponent? You're actually in my district, so I've already actually voted for you. But
thank you.
And I got a funny story about your opponent. You know, some people like to have their opponent's name said, and others don't. So I'll let you say it if you're going to say it. But your opponent, when she had first won, I had actually reached out and asked for someone to get back to me. Obviously, I'm the principal officer of a very large local. One of the things I put in the reach out was our small business program, the Teamster Advantage program, that we have more than 1,000 small businesses connected to. And I really talked about what things needed to be done in the community. And I'll tell you what, it fell completely on deaf ears. I didn't even get a return email. I called, I emailed again, I reached out multiple times. But I thought it was funny that when the endorsement came around and when we had other events at our office, that individual was running to the building to try to get, some sort of endorsement from us.
So, I would thank you for that, because it illustrates something. I was talking to another union that a few months ago, one that I had good reason to believe was going to be very supportive of me, and the endorsement interview went extremely well. And at the end of it, I asked, what are you looking for from your elected official? And the answer was profound. We want a relationship. We want to know that if we've got an issue and we pick up the phone, you're going to be there listening to us and hearing what the problems are and doing your best to try to fix things. What I promise you is when you call, when you email, you're going to get a response. And I can't guarantee we're going to agree with each other 100% of the time, but I can absolutely guarantee you I will never fail to listen.
And that's what a relationship is all about. And what we mean by relationship is if you can have the conversation and regardless of political party, have the connection to understand where one another is on a subject. Obviously, when it's us as labor reaching out, we're reaching out on behalf of the membership and the membership's needs, not some affiliation to a party, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's really about
right.
what's impacting the membership in which we serve. And that relationship, what's important about that relationship is even when we cannot agree on how to solve it, if we still try to work and talk to a resolution through it, that's what defines a relationship. Because a good relationship isn't like it's been coined. Well, these are just labor candidates that get rubber stamped, or the unions are doing this or unions are doing that. There's plenty of villainization of us. What we've always wanted is just the ability to have that conversation, find some common ground, make something happen, and even if we can't agree to resolve that issue today, know that relationship is there to work on the next item that comes up that hopefully we can find some common ground on.
I think that's just fundamental, Randy, to every human relationship. I don't know much of anybody who's been married who agree on absolutely everything all the time.
I agree with my wife. I agree with my wife every single time.
You're a smart man.
She's probably listening, laughing right now, saying, no, that's not true, but okay. Anyway, sorry for interrupting you, Lisa.
Not at all. But we work things through because we care about each other. We have the same values, and we want to see folks succeed. I believe the right of representation is absolutely fundamental. And one of the things that I am convinced has gone wrong in the United States in the last 40 years is the balance that we used to have between management and labor is no longer there. And management has gotten far too much of everything they want, and it is time that those who are representing our working population know that they're going to have laws that are going to give them the opportunity to fully represent their members.
Well, and just so you know, you have a phenomenal reputation there in Palm Springs on the council as being very approachable and very labor friendly and very supportive. So hopefully, you win this election coming up, and hopefully, because I know the last election, if you take the numbers, it was pretty darn close. It's a pretty evenly split district, right?
This district is incredibly close, and most people believe of all the 20 state Senate races that this will be the tightest and the closest. And I am getting out to every part of the district and trying to meet with people and let them know that I'm going to Sacramento to work on pragmatic issues that will make a difference for people in their everyday lives, and that I will always listen.
Well, thank you for coming on the show. Really appreciate you coming on the Worker Power Hour. Is there anything you want to close on before we close up this part of the segment? And again, thank you, Lisa Middleton, for coming on and sharing your reason for running as well as your continued support of labor. We appreciate that. Is there anything you want to close on?
Randy, I really appreciate what you are doing in making sure that the voice of labor is heard in the Inland Empire. Keep it up. And when I'm in Sacramento, my phone number is 760-330-7023, and I answer my own phone. Take care.
Thank you very much, and we really appreciate you recognizing the voice of labor, and we're really excited about this show and the Worker Power Hour and how we're getting the voice of labor out. We're getting our members' voices out. We're getting the connections to the community. Really appreciate all these relationships, and thanks for coming on the show. So with that, Mark, thanks again, Lisa. Really appreciate it. With that, we're going to transition to our next lineup of guests. We've got, like I said earlier in the show, we have got a ton of people here. So give me music for probably about 30 seconds.
I want to rock right now. I'm Rob Bass and I came to get down. I'm not internationally known, but I'm known to rock the microphone because I get stupid. I mean outrageous. Stay away from me if you're contagious, cause I'm a winner. No, not a loser. To be an MC is what I choose. Ladies love me, girls adore me. I mean, even the ones who never saw me like the way that I rhyme at a show. The reason why, man, I don't know. So let's go, cause my name is Rob, I got a real funky concept. Listen up, cause I'm gonna keep you in step. I got I don't care. I'm number one, the uno, I like pump. Bring all the suckers, cause all of them I'll stomp. Won't neglect, but I will protect. All of my followers, cause all I want is respect.
Randy Corgan here, back with the Worker Power Hour. I keep getting text messages over your music choice, so keep it up. Keep it up, Mark. We really appreciate the nice tunes in between. Again, longtime organizer, first-time radio host here, Randy Corgan with the Worker Power Hour, KCAA 1050 AM, 106.5 FM. My rookie status allows me the latitude to make a bunch of mistakes. So with that, I'm going to go to our next set of guests, and I'm just warning you ahead of time. If I make any mistakes, it's because I'm a rookie at this. And yeah, you guys can laugh. It's okay. You can laugh at me. I'm good with being the butt of jokes. We have Alex Vera on for the Redlands School Board. You're a candidate, correct?
Yes.
And then we have Melissa.
Yes, Ayala Quintero.
Okay. I'm assuming you're a candidate as well?
We are both candidates, but we are the incumbents.
Okay. Well, why don't you introduce yourselves and let's talk about, I know there's been a lot of stuff going on in Redlands so over the last few years, and let's talk about your platform. And I like to talk a lot about, first of all, you are a PAC endorsed by our PAC. Is that correct, Robert?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So wasn't it cool to kind of go down to the Union Hall and meet all these members, not just staff people, but members who asked a bunch of questions and tried to kind of pick your brain, but also that care about the civic responsibility. And what I appreciate about whether it's school board or city council is how important that part of government is, and we kind of have a tendency to overlook. So with that, probably gave you a lot of meat and potatoes. You want to talk a few minutes about?
It was actually pretty intimidating. I mean, these are some pretty powerful voices, and
yeah, our members, man, they intimidate the heck out of me sometimes too.
Oh yeah, it was pretty intimidating because you're going down there and you're trying to sell yourself, and trying to encourage them to get behind you, and you have to talk a good game in order to be able to get the endorsement of so many strong minds and powerful voices.
Yeah, Melissa, they're really good at flushing out the phony stuff.
Yes.
They can flush it out real quick.
So just imagine going there and you're sitting in front of a panel of like 30 people, and then you have a seat and a cup of water, and there's question after question after question, and
they're firing at you like a firing squad.
Yes. So it is intimidating. I agree. I felt like I was going for an interview for.
Well, you must have did good, because if you got the endorsement from that group, sometimes that group doesn't endorse me. Obviously, I'm joking around here, but they give me they give me a rough run at it, which is exactly what you want. You want that fair exchange of ideas in that space for the vetting process when it comes to deciding who the organization is going to support, regardless of party affiliation. So talk about your platform a bit.
So I've been on the school board since 2016, and I share quite a bit about the story when I originally started running, and my kids would go around, and when my kids are practicing soccer, I would go around the neighborhood in Redlands. And I would knock on doors, and there was this older gentleman that I came across, and I just started talking to him, and I told him, "Hello, my name's Alex Vara. I'm an educator. I've been in education for about 20 years." And he said, "Stop there, son. I'm going to vote for you." And I said, "But you didn't let me finish my spiel." And he said, "Look, you're running for a position that nobody really cares about. I see how passionate you are about about education, and I'm letting you know right now I'm gonna vote for you." But now the platform's completely different. It's we have people running against us not because they want to help and improve our education system, but they just want to change things, and they want to come up with things that we shouldn't have to be dealing with or talking about. They want to talk about vouchers. They want to talk about Trump's 2025 vision and how they want to dismantle education.
Yeah, Project 2025 is a bit dangerous to the educational system.
Very.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
A lot of this could, dismantle. We have, a great charter school in the area, the Grove. We have a lot of families that rely on this school, and if they come in and they decide, we want to go to voucher system, they could also disband our charters. It's a pretty scary time. But I mean, the great thing about me and Alex is we are here doing the work. We are currently sitting on the board, and we're doing everything we can to implement change. yes, Redlands is a very bad history, and you know what? Everywhere does, and we're here to change that. We're here to make sure that we're doing good by our students. We're here to make sure that we're doing everything we can. We are parents. We have kids in the district, and we've been serving this community for the last over 10 years. Alex has been in education for 30. I mean, I'm
So
a
what do
mom.
you teach? If you've been in education, I'm
So-
assuming you're a teacher?
Well, currently I'm a middle school principal in Rialto at Frisbee Middle School.
Frisbee?
Yes, Frisbee
All right,
Middle
all right.
School. And then I'm also a professor at Cal State San Bernardino, and I teach secondary, up-and-coming secondary teachers and elementary teachers teaching strategies. So I'm preparing them for their role as teachers.
How about you, Melissa?
I have 3 kids. I'm just a mom in the district. My 2 have gone on to Cal State Dominguez Hills.
Mhm.
This is my last kid coming through Redlands Unified, but they've all spent all their time here. And I did the PTA mom thing. Room mom did it solid for 10 years, and it just
It grew into
it grew
running
in-
for school board, yeah?
Yeah, it just grew into this.
And how long you been on the school board?
This is the end of my first term, so 4 years now.
Okay. And I'm assuming you've learned a tremendous amount being in that process. Now, we have a mandatory break coming in about a minute and a half, and the one thing I can't do is move that one. I can move any other break I want, but that one's an NBC break at the top of the hour that I gotta stick with. And what we'll do is we'll go to that break. So I'll come to I'll take a break here in a minute, and then we'll bring you back as soon as the news cycle plays, and then we'll talk for a few more minutes. But sorry for interrupting you.
No, you're good.
So
I just, you know what, I'm a big proponent for serving your community. You know, this is my village. These are the people that have helped me raise my kids, and I've helped raise theirs, and I'll do anything I can to help serve them, and I'll continue to do as long as I'm allowed to have this seat.
Yeah, and you know, being part of the local government like that is really, really important. The civic responsibility, teaching civic responsibility and engagement. It's easy for us to complain about everything, but once we get involved and we learn the processes, which maybe we'll talk about here on the other side of this break, a little bit more detail. I really appreciate those that want to serve in this capacity without a kind of like a selfish intent, that are really ingrained in the community in a positive way, trying to making it better. Or, you know, kids went to school there, you're trying to make it better, or a lot of people we're seeing, they're educators maybe in another district, and they happen to live in this district, and they're trying to take what they've learned as an educator. And so with that, we're going to quickly transition to our break. This is Randy Corrigan, the Worker Power Hour, longtime organizer, first-time radio host. Let's take the break at the top of the hour. Mark, take it away.
NBC News on KCAA Loma Linda, sponsored by Teamsters Local 1932, protecting the future of working families. Teamsters1932.org.
NBC News Radio, I'm Lisa Taylor. The sprint to the White House is picking up pace with less than 3 weeks to go until Election Day. Former President Trump appeared on a Fox News town hall in front of an all-female audience that was taped yesterday in Georgia. He'll also be in Miami today to take part in a town hall for Univision. Meanwhile, Vice President Harris will sit down for an interview with Bret Baier on Fox that will air this evening. She will also hold a campaign event in Pennsylvania. J.D. Vance will hold events in Pennsylvania and North Carolina, while Tim Walz will appear at a series of campaign receptions in Washington, D.C. Jimmy Carter has achieved his goal of living long enough to vote for Kamala Harris. Michael Kastner reports.
Carter turned 100 years old on October 1st, making him the oldest former president in U.S. history. 2 months ago, his grandson said the former president wanted to hold on long enough to cast his vote for fellow Democrat Vice President Kamala Harris in the upcoming election.
Lisa Taylor, NBC News Radio.
Are you looking for a good union job? The Inland Empire's 14,000 member strong Teamsters Local 1932 has opened a training center to get working people trained and placed in open positions in public service clerical work and in jobs in the logistics industry. This is a new opportunity to advance your career and raise standards across the region. Visit 1932trainingcenter.org to enroll today. That's 1932trainingcenter.org.
Once in a while, every so often, an educator comes to our school systems with passion and vision. That's Nicholas Dibbs.
Hi, I'm Nicholas Dibbs, teacher running for school board here in Garden Grove Unified Trustee Area 1. And the district cut 10 intermediate school woodshop classes and 4 auto shop classes. We need these classes back so students can have a better future.
This is Nicholas Dibbs' Opus.
Where many schools eliminate their wood shops, a project that they could really dig into.
No matter where you live across this country.
It feels like thrilling to see something that I've done being so important.
It feels nice because I know that a lot of people don't really think that kids can really do stuff like this. They don't think that we can actually do big things.
Some leaders recognize that, others don't. But on November 5th, you can by voting for Nicholas Dibbs.
Please support this effort so we can have quality vocational education.
And that's amazing.
Go to nickdibs.org, nickdibs.org. Thank you.
Paid for by Dibs for School Board 2024.
Vote no on Measure S. Just 1%. 1 is the loneliest number that you'll ever see. It's a 1% pay cut to everyone. They say it's not much, pure deception, and they will always be back for more. Tell them that making big threats to the paychecks of public safety employees, firefighters, closing a firehouse, firing law enforcement, closing a senior center, and the kids' pool is unacceptable when you spend money like it's water. A nearby city raised their sales tax to 8.75%, and the result is over 100,000 square feet of empty retail space. What is a 1% sales increase of nothing? Nothing. Measure S is a terrible solution, a $7.3 million budget deficit, and the city manager got a $106,000 pay increase. Rewards for poor results? Tell them to do better and take less. Vote no on Measure S just like you voted no on Measure E years back. Same bad deal. Protect our city and protect our local businesses. Vote no on Measure S, paid for by donations of local residents to the Urban Ingenuity PAC.
What would you do if you had a broken bone? You'd go to the doctor and use your insurance, right? Well, what would you do if you have a serious problem with drugs and alcohol? Most people do nothing until it's way too late. Your insurance can help you get clean and sober with the assistance of a place like the Detox and Treatment Helpline. Many times, addiction treatment is fully covered. So why not use your insurance to treat your addiction problem just like you would if you had a broken bone? And with the Family Medical Leave Act, you're allowed to take time off by law, and your employer doesn't need to know the reason. So there are 2 good reasons. You've got insurance you can use for your addiction problem, and with the Family Medical Leave Act, it's completely confidential. Call now, 800-398-7414. That's 800-398-7414.
Welcome to the Worker Power Hour with Randy Corrigan, a brand new show about labor and worker issues. The host of the show is Randy Corrigan, Secretary Treasurer and Principal Office and leader of Teamsters 1932, one of the largest public sector labor unions on the West Coast, representing workers in government and non-sworn law enforcement personnel. Randy Corrigan is a 30-year Teamster who first became involved in the labor movement by volunteering his time as an organizer with the Teamsters Union at the age of 21. Since then, he's helped thousands organize, mobilize, and achieve bargaining rights. He accomplished this by spending countless hours with brave men and women all over Southern California, in their living rooms, on the picket line, to bring workers towards victory. This is the Worker Power Hour. And now here's the host of the show, Randy Corrigan.
Welcome back, everybody. The second half of the show, Randy Corrigan, the Worker Power Hour, KCAA 1050 AM, 106.5 FM. Long-time organizer, first-time radio host. I'm going to be able to say that for a few years. I'm going to stretch out my rookie status as long as I can so that I can blame any mistakes I make on that versus blaming Mark for everything. Mark just stepped out. But with that, we have Alex and Melissa back. They're both school board. They're current school board, sitting school board members for the district, the Redland School District. Correct?
Yes.
And one of the things I like to ask those, especially at the school board level, is one, how important labor is. And what I mean by labor is good union jobs, because there's a difference between just having jobs and having good jobs. And second, what schools can do more of to explain how important labor is to our community. As my son, I tell this story a lot. My son, my oldest son, he graduated from Carlsbad High. And And in high school, in his book regarding labor, it called unions a cartel. And so my son, who, not just, comes from my loins, right? His mom was involved in labor as well, right? Like that, for him, that was very insulting as a 16-year-old reading. Like, he knew that just wasn't true, right?
Yeah.
Like, he grew up every moment of every day he lived. He understood his
experience was different, so it must have been very jarring to read.
Yeah, I remember he snapped a picture of it and sent it over to me. So my point is that there's this narrative that corporate America kind of controls to try to villainize us, right? And the reality is we're nowhere near what that narrative is. I guess if you want to watch a bunch of movies and stuff, it fits. But if I was in the mob, I would just whack these people that give me trouble that I'm trying to negotiate a contract, right? Like, and that's how I always make it funny when I'm organizing workers and the employer tries to depict us as the mob. And I said, well, if I was the mob, I'd just whack the guy that told you that, right? So clearly that's not the case. This is it's just a story that's being told. My point is that labor has been instrumental in making the community stable. It's obviously a little bit biased on this subject, but I recognize that over the last 100+ years, and in the 148 years since the formation of this country, the only consistent thing for working people has been unions and union contracts. The only consistent thing. Everything else, policymakers come and go and things change here and there. But when it comes to advocating for workers, we have been the consistent one. So what do you have to say about that as a school board member? How can you be more impactful to make sure that the next generation understands how important what I just said is?
Well, I'm going to share two examples because I've early on when I was 18 years old, I had 3 jobs. And 3 of the jobs that I have, 2 of them were union jobs. One of them, I was an instructional aide in Rialto, and the other one, I was a Teamster for UPS. And those 2 jobs that I had while I was going to college helped me pay my way through college. And
provided health care.
Exactly.
Yep.
Without that health care, without the added security in those jobs, and even though I was there for a short amount of time, I was able to cash out. Even though I was there for about 4 years, I was able to cash out on my retirement, and I was able to buy my first home. Now, nowadays, it's extremely difficult for anybody to work a job for 4 years and cash out on their retirement to purchase a house. Right during the times we're living, that's like an impossible task. So union jobs are extremely important, and they're beneficial because they provide a service for the people in order for them to earn enough money and for them to have the proper health care that they need to have.
And not everybody is going to go to college. I think the statistics in the Inland Empire is 82% of those that graduate don't end up going to college. It's a big number.
So Alex and I both sit on the board for CRIROP because this is actually something we're passionate about. We want to make sure that our students, when they leave our schools, they have somewhat of a plan. They know what they want to do with their lives. And when we're introducing them to these careers and these other trades early on, then they can decide for themselves what they have a passion for and what route they want to take. Because, let's be realistic. In the Inland Empire, we have a lot of warehouses. And we have a school-to-warehouse pipeline going on. And that's not something that is built for longevity. This isn't something that we want our students to survive on. We want them to be able to establish eventually buy a home, build a family, and be able to support that family.
Well, I'm going to push back a little bit on this, and here you're going to be surprised to see the take on this. Yes, I somewhat agree with you, but the reason why these warehouses no longer pay a living wage is because corporate America has gotten what they wanted the last 3 decades.
Yeah.
When I graduated, and before I graduated,
they used to be union jobs.
They were almost all union jobs,
absolutely.
And warehouse jobs paid a wage that, number one, if you went into a warehouse or you went into a driving job, or you went into that sort of sector, the sector that's the biggest sector in the Inland Empire. If you went into that sector, you made enough money. It was a living wage. You could buy a home. You could buy a decent vehicle. You could raise your family in a decent neighborhood. And those jobs were a dime a dozen when I was 15, 16, 17, 18. That's where I got my start as a teenager in the industry. I worked as a young teenager for cash on a dock, and then as soon as I turned 18, I actually went to work at a union dock and made good money. In a lot of cases, what's more than they pay in some places today, all these years later. So now the reason why I bring this up is because now the narrative is that a warehouse job isn't a good job. And I always try to push back on people because the Teamster jobs that are warehouse jobs, like you say the UPSers, like you just mentioned UPS.
Yes.
Anybody at 18 years old that got a job at UPS and is still there all these years later, they will have been able to retire when they're 49 or 50 with medical benefits. That's a warehouse job. That's an industry, and UPS is very successful. They profit pretty well. So at the end of the day, they took care of their workforce because they had a Teamster contract. A lot of these others obviously didn't do that. And so what they did is they downgraded the value of that job. And I actually don't think that those jobs are devalued. They should be devalued. I think that they're necessary. It's okay to work in them your entire career. If you're one of the 82% that's not going to go to college, then you know what? It's okay to be in that field. And this industry really pushed down the wages and working conditions first through contingent workforce, temporary agencies, high turnover. That was in the started in the late 90s, then early 2000s. And then obviously what it's graduated to today. And then now collectively people think, oh, well, going to work at a warehouse is a bad job. I can actually drive to warehouses where people make, a lot of them make six figures.
Yeah, no,
working in a warehouse.
I actually used to have a warehouse job. I did with a union. I used to work for Coca-Cola North America.
Well,
and it's a great
you were a
job.
Teamster, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
So my point is not to argue. It's to. I always try to correct the narrative that's been created, especially in the IE, because it's unfortunate that these corporations have gotten away with this. So now it's important for us to do a correction, not just
take it back.
That is correct, because we're not a failure for those of us that didn't go to college, right?
Oh no, not at all.
The whole generation was villainized for not going to college. It was a big mistake, and obviously educators see now that they shouldn't have done that through those generations. It was my generation, the generation after, and the generation before that basically said that we were failures if we didn't go to college, and now they scratch their head and say, we probably shouldn't have said that. However, devaluing those jobs on top of it made it problematic. And so, I think it goes back to the importance of valuing labor with the youth, junior high, high school.
Yeah.
I know that's why we have at Teamsters 1932, we have the High School to High Paying Jobs Initiative. We're working with all the high schools at building pipelines into good union jobs for that 82% that are not going to go to college. Sorry, I know I just threw a mouthful at you, but I'm assuming both of you want to comment on this before we wrap this part of the segment up.
So, one of the things that I see that are necessary and we're probably lacking is we probably need to have a more connection with our local unions, because if we have a connection with our local unions, our students can be
better see themselves in the community.
Yes, and not only that, though, but they can also work maybe part-time job with the Teamsters, learn the trade, and then right after high school, they can just start.
They go right in.
They go right in, and then they have that practice. So we need to make sure that we have more of a connection, and there's a pipeline where, because we know not all of the students are going to want to go to college. They want to have a trade right after, they
want to know. They want to know that they can take care of themselves.
Right. And
that's all
one of the
anybody
biggest.
wants. I think that's what we're all fighting for, just to make sure that we can take care of ourselves and that our kids are going to be able to find something that they can take care of themselves. It doesn't matter if it's going to college, doesn't matter if it's going to a trade and going into a warehouse. They just want to be able to support themselves.
And let's keep it realistic. In a union job, the students are going to have people are going to have protection. They're going to have paid vacations. They're going to have sick leave. They're going to have the health and welfare benefits. and everything else that comes with it. Where a warehouse job, like you mentioned earlier, if you're in a temporary agency, you don't get any of that.
That's correct.
There's no security.
And you're bouncing around and jumping from job to job, and you may spend your entire career in the industry, but it never be very long with one employer.
Yeah.
Which is exactly what they wanted, and then now they're upset that a lot of people don't want to do the work. You devalued it.
Absolutely.
Because they devalued it like they did. You're right. A bunch of people are going, I really don't want to do that. Versus propping it up, paying well. What happened to the day when businesses would line up and say, come to work for me. You come to work for me at 18 years old. You can retire at this age. You can spend your entire career here. You can retire in dignity in the same area. And I could have a long-term loyal employee that's going to help my business become profitable.
The employer started telling them that, it's not so much what I can provide for you, it's what you can provide for me. And I think that's
Correct.
where...
They flipped the script.
Yeah,
Yep.
absolutely.
Well, really appreciate you guys coming on. Is there anything you want to close on before we go to a very brief break of this music that everybody's loving, that I'm getting text messages from how Mark is doing such a great job on the board of giving us great music. But Alex, Melissa, is there anything you want to close on?
I just want to mention, because Melissa said we're also on the CRYROP board together, and CRYROP is Colton, Redlands, Yucaipa, and what we did is we came together and we partnered the 3 districts, so that way we provide our students with regional occupational programs and career technical education programs to
That's
help
a very good
prepare the
program.
students
Yep.
for the jobs of the future. And one of the things that the CRYROP does is that they look at the high density jobs that are needed, and we create classes to help prepare the students for those jobs, and then we give them the experience in order for them to move on.
So they can start working right out of
And
high
you guys
school.
have been building a bunch out in the healthcare industry connected to that lately, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
we
Last
have.
time I looked at that there was a bunch of them.
We just started a
adding
new
to that.
pathway in
Yep.
aviation.
Drones.
With with Redlands East Valley High School. But we have a Heart Academy at Redlands High School. We have a lot of good programs, and they're constantly reevaluating to see what industry needs are, to see where we're going to see a surge.
Computer science, engineering, coding.
Welding, yeah, it's amazing.
Melissa, anything you want to close on?
No, I just want to thank you for allowing us this time and for all your support of our union workers. I mean, we have great relationships with our unions and Redlands Unified, and we have crazy respect for everyone.
Well, thanks for coming on the Worker Power Hour. Thanks for asking to come on the Worker Power Hour, and thanks for being connected to this network that we're building out. We're proud of it. We're very excited about it, and we love that our listenership is expanding extremely fast, and we're having a good time with it. This is Randy Corrigan at the Worker Power Hour, KCAA 1050 AM, 106.5 FM.
Thank you.
Do a quick break. You're welcome.
Go Teamsters.
Randy Corrigan in the Worker Power Hour. Mark, thanks for having the good music again. Getting text messages on it. We're gonna. As much as you're doing good, we're gonna give you praise. But whenever you mess up, we're gonna call you Marky Poo. So there's an inside joke on calling him Marky Poo. We're definitely gonna have fun with it. And so Lori Ryan, district attorney's listening live. She's out of the district attorney's office. She always loves the music, by the way. She's the first one to always either text or email me. So Lori, thanks for listening in or watching in live. I really appreciate it. And she's probably doing a little dance at her desk right now. So with that, I have Danielle Hawley. She's the executive director of the Fontana Chamber of Commerce, and she's a candidate for Fontana School Board. Now, you and I have known each other for a while. Really appreciate you coming on. So why don't you take a minute to introduce yourself?
Sure. Well, thanks, Randy, so much for having me.
Is she not on? She's not on? She's not.
All right. There we go. I can hear myself now. Well, thank you so much, Randy, for having me on the show. Yes, we've known each other for a few years now, but I'm a Fontana girl, born and raised, and I think we had that in common.
Oh,
we connected over Fontana.
Yeah, we can spend a half hour talking about all the cool stuff.
Just talking about Fontana.
Right.
But, I love Fontana with all my heart. And so I think my story really began with my great-grandparents. And I'm going to tell you this because I want to set the stage for, who I am and why I've chosen to dedicate my life to my community and running for school board. But my great-grandfather came over to America at the ripe old age of 16 from Poland. And so came through Ellis Island. Somehow my family, he met my great-grandma, and they found their way to Fontana of all places. And so uniquely enough, this was in the 1950s. They found their way to Fontana, built their home there, had property. And I tell you this because the house that my husband and I live in today is my great-grandparents' house.
Oh, nice.
And so it's been in the family for multi-generations. And so, so proud of that. My grandfather and my grandma, who practically raised me, I love them. They're like parents to me. They actually are still both alive, and they both live next door to me. So when they got married in the 50s, got their house next door to my great-grandparents' house, and now I get to live next door to my grandparents. So it's just a really great story. Every time I come home, I think, oh my gosh, it really truly feels like home. There's a lot of heritage there and history there. But I grew up.
Well, it is home. That's like a multi-generation.
It really is. Every memory that I have was literally at those two houses growing up. And so I think that's unique, especially today in today's culture. Nothing stays the same. Everything's changing. But that's the one thing that I think was always the constant for me is my family's history and foundation in Fontana. And so my grandfather actually was in the first graduating class at FOHI, class of 55. And so my whole family went there. After that, my uncle, my dad, everybody played football. My grandpa played football. I did not play football.
I was going to say, did you play football?
I did not.
What's wrong with you?
But I was a track and field captain. I don't think you knew this, but I was a pole vaulter in high school.
Oh, all right.
Captain of the track team. I was a cheerleader too. I played volleyball. Did water polo for a little bit.
Water polo, that's a tough sport.
Like this long because those girls are brutal.
Yeah, that's a tough sport.
But I really fell in love with cheer and track and field. And so I actually still have the record at Fontana High School for pole vaulting. And they took it away like a couple years after I graduated because it was so dangerous. I don't know. I had a blast. So I've got all these.
You convinced them afterwards to take it away so that you could hold on to the record all these years.
Exactly. So my record still stands. But one thing I'm really proud of, because I'm a girly girl, I was Miss Fontana my senior year of high school. But I was not only female athlete of the year my senior year at FOHI, I was also athlete of the year. I beat all those boys, all the football players. So I have that patch on my Letterman's jacket as well. So
what year did you graduate?
2001.
Oh, okay.
Stop doing the math, you guys.
No, I wasn't doing it. I'm only doing it to connect to who I know in that.
No, I'm kidding. Yeah.
Especially growing up, in that area. I think about all the knuckleheads I knew in that time period.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. So, so I like I said, I love Fontana. I always wanted to be a teacher. My aunt was a teacher at Palmetto. She taught there from start to finish, Palmetto Elementary.
Oh, I know Palmetto. I went to Palmetto.
Mrs. Bowen.
Yes.
Yes, you know Mrs. Bowen.
I do.
Yes.
Luckily, I was never in her class because then she can't report on how bad I was.
So I wanted to be my aunt when I grew up. And so after I graduated from FOHI, I actually actually went to Cal State San Bernardino, and I was able to get my multiple subject teaching credential, my BA in liberal studies, and 2 subject matter authorization credentials, one for English Comp and one for social sciences. And I did go on to get my master's degree in curriculum and instruction. And so it was really great because all of my student teaching, everything happened in Fontana. I cleared my credential in Fontana. I was a long-term sub there. I even was a track and field coach the year after I graduated.
Did you
at
try to bring
Kaiser.
pole vaulting back?
Oh, I was the pole vaulting coach for the boys.
See?
Yeah. So, so they got rid of it like a year or so after that. But, just really great to give back to the community that gave so much to me. Was a teacher in Fontana. I did my student teaching at Canyon Crest, did a long-term sub-assignment at Randall Pepper.
I went to Randall Pepper.
Yep. And then taught 4th grade at Sierra Lakes Elementary. That was not around when you were in school.
No.
But that was really great because I feel like I had the experience of, if you know Fontana is very diverse and each segment of the city is very different. So I got to teach in the South, in the core, and in the North, which I think was really rewarding and really insightful for me to see the diversity of our students and their needs at each section of our city because our city's so diverse. And then taught for a couple years in private school because I was in that 08, 09 crisis and I got pink slip, not because of my abilities, but because I was low man on the totem pole.
Yeah. There's cutbacks everywhere.
There were. And so I lived through that. And, I really feel like all of that adversity, any challenge that you face really makes you a better person. I think I have a lot of grit. That's what I like to say because life's really thrown a lot of curveballs at me, but I see those as opportunities of how can I get better? How can I overcome this? And so I actually became a children's director at a church for a couple of years, did the church thing. And then totally random, I did public works contracting with my uncle. And so we had, different projects going. We worked with a lot of our labor partners, our LIUNA folks, and brought in laborers. It was a very small shop. So that was really great because I had grown up in a blue collar union family. My grandpa and my father were part of the Commercial Painters Union, and my uncle just retired from the Carpenters Union. And so, growing up, it was so I love being here to talk about this because it's very passionate to me because the healthcare that I had, the opportunities, just the stability, I would say, growing up. Stability
is one of the best words to define. To define a union household, a union career, the movement, the labor movement over a long period of time. Stability, in my mind, is one of the best words to describe it with. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, it's okay. But I
can just sit back. You can take the show over.
No. I'll wrap it up right now. And total side note.
We got a half hour with you. We got
then I'm
plenty of time.
going to sit back in my chair and get comfortable. Total side note. We have a podcast at the Chamber. I would love to have you on the podcast
I'd love to
one
come
time.
on.
Okay,
Yeah.
we're going to have you on the podcast
come
at the
on.
Chamber.
Absolutely.
So let me get to my destination now of Chamber. Like, why the Chamber? So after we did the contracting with my uncle, and granted, this is a very male-dominated industry, and I was out there on the
Can
job.
I jump in on the chamber thing real
please.
quick?
Oh, sure.
So you know that we're in 32 chambers in the Inland Empire. Did you know that?
I did not know.
We participate in 26 chambers.
Okay.
So we've been on the board of directors or the president of multiple, and our participation in that space is to obviously continue to connect the small business through our Teamster Advantage program,
Yeah.
and help the small businesses connect to our membership for free. We obviously don't charge for that, but that space for us, I felt has been very effective and powerful because small business community is no different than somebody going to work in one of these operations where they're part of the living the working class, and they're just trying to raise their family and do all the things we were just talking about.
Sure.
And the more we can create that cyclical nature of helping one another within the community, the Teamster Advantage program for me is one of all the things I've worked on over my career. It's one of the things I'm most proud of because it was hard to get started, but now that it's big and vast and it's connected, it just shows that unions aren't villains, right? That we're in a positive space to try to connect. And so having good relationships for me with the chamber, it's interesting because the unions and the chamber of commerce are typically on the opposite sides of arguments. Now, that's the National Chamber of Commerce, not the local chambers. What happens at the local chamber is very different than typically what the national chamber will say. So with that, I just wanted to, throw some information out there and to show you how excited we are. I'm excited to find that you are the executive director of the Fontana Chamber. Obviously, my Fontana roots,
Yep.
right? Number one. Number two, obviously, with what we do as an organization at trying to connect, and then number three, trying to build a stronger relationship with the big chamber, and a chamber that, in my mind, could be extremely effective. So sorry.
No, I love that. And we can segue right into that because I want to talk about, and out of all the chambers you're a part of, ours is your favorite, right, Fontana?
Today.
Okay.
I do have a few of them listening in.
That's okay. I know how it goes. But no, I appreciate you. And I want to just throw this out here. I actually went before the Inland Labor Council for endorsement, and I received their endorsement. I feel like I won Miss America when I got that letter in the mail because exactly what you said. They told me, people like you don't come in and ask for our endorsement.
Correct.
And I thought, wow, okay, great point. I totally respect that. And then I got to share with them, well, I'm a firm believer in just because things have been done a certain way all the time doesn't mean that we continue doing that. And I think what I'm excited to bring to the table is exactly what I just shared with you, my history and my diverse background. Growing up in a strong, stable union family, I see the product of that stability and how important that is. Now also working in our business community, I will say that Fontana especially is very different from a lot of chambers. From Cal Chamber, I would say the National Chamber of, right? Local level. And I'm big on local control, and you need local people providing
That's
that
correct.
control. And so, which is why I'm running for school board, which we'll get to in a minute. But what makes Fontana so unique, and I think we have to go back to the history of Fontana. Let's go back to, Kaiser Steel, where my great-grandpa worked in the kitchen there when they first came to Fontana. That was the backbone in building the city of Fontana. Out of that came the development, came the progress, came the stability of that great workforce and building that culture and really building Fontana into what it is today. And so I think what's so unique about Fontana, and I mentioned the three diverse zones that we have within the city, which is true. There's the core, the north, and the south. Well, in the south we have, and I'm just going to open up a whole can, our Southwest Industrial Park, which have the warehouses and things. But I want to talk about the manufacturing that happens there. I want to talk about the 408 manufacturers that every single day are making things that are pushing our economy forward from Fontana. Walmart, 64% of all the goods that go to the entire nation pass through or are shipped through Fontana.
Yes.
We are the second port of LA. So there is extreme commerce happening in Fontana that is very unique to this region. And that in turn fuels prosperity.
It's America's shopping basket.
It really is. And
Sure.
and love it or hate it, all of us shop online. All of us have those
Correct.
subscribe and save, all of those things. It's not going away. So I think what you're doing such an amazing job, and I'm so thankful for. How are we being proactive in anticipating this need that's not going away, that actually quadrupled or whatever it did during COVID? I mean, exponentially grew, right? This demand for online consumerism.
And that time also created an awareness and a value with the public that wasn't there before.
Right.
In other words, everybody kind of, even though Teamsters have been delivering to someone's doorstep for over 100 years, since we had, ice box, we delivered ice when it was going to a box, literally, before refrigerators.
Yeah.
The horse and buggy, we delivered milk, so we've been delivering to the doorstep for over 100 years, and it's important to us that industry be handled and valued correctly, because we've been ambassadors. Our members have been ambassadors of that space for 125 years.
Yeah.
And I think what COVID did is the general public actually started to put a little bit more value in that.
Sure.
How did it get to my doorstep magically?
Right. Well, and especially when you're not allowed to really go out or you don't have access to those things, you're solely reliant on the people bringing that to you. So I think it pushed the forefront of you to the forefront to awareness of our consumer base of who's actually the workforce behind this, making this happen, which is great because now we're all aware, right? You're still pushing the same message that you've had, but I think we're all aware of it now because it directly affects us. And sometimes the light bulb doesn't go on until it directly affects us, and
very
it
true.
does.
We wish it was different, but it's that way sometimes.
Yeah, but that's the world we live in, right? But that's why I love what you're doing. And seeing the new training center and just everything.
Remember, you came into the office when it was all an idea.
I know.
And we met and we talked about all the different things that we
Yeah.
can do. And now you see that. You see we got a radio show. Like, we're
It's
really
amazing.
pumping this message
You're
out.
rocking and rolling,
Yeah.
and I'm so proud of you. And even I'm going to throw out youth helpers and the
Isn't
work that
aren't they
Becky's
been-
doing.
Isn't she amazing?
She's
I
phenomenal.
keep trying to get her on the show, and she ducks and she dodges me. But I'm gonna.
You'll
I'm
get
actually
her.
gonna give. It's gonna be a direct work order at some point. I'm gonna say, no, you're coming on the show.
Becky, you're coming in, yeah. But think about just all not only just the workforce sector, but now we're reaching the youth, and I think that's something that I'm extremely passionate about. Obviously, devoting my formative years to. Really education and bettering. Now I'm like mid part of my life, and I'm really thinking, how do I give back to this community that really shaped me into the woman that I am today? And that's really my mindset now as I'm in my 40s, my middle of my life here.
No, you're 29.
Yes, 29. And I have to say my age because it's on the stinking ballot. So everybody knows, no secret. But
They
I'm
make you
proud
put
of
it on the ballot?
Yeah, I put it on there.
Oh, you
I'm
did?
proud
Okay.
of it. I
Yeah.
own
There's
it.
nothing wrong
I've
with
done
that.
a lot of done a lot of life,
there's nothing wrong with
I've
that.
lived a lot of life, and I'm very proud of that. But I think looking at this stage of my life, I would not be where I'm at just coming back to, we're talking about my union foundation of my family support system, right? My education within Fontana, me being able to be a teacher, we're doing contracting and learning that trade and that space. Now serving as executive director of the Fontana Chamber of Commerce. Fontana is just such a huge part of my history, and I'm forward thinking because exactly what we were just talking about right now with COVID. I think that we were forced into this situation where we had to react, and I love to be proactive instead of reactive. And I think that great leaders are very proactive in their approach, and they can anticipate needs as they're coming and see big picture. And that's what I'm really strategically trying to do at this stage of my life, and I am doing. I'm doing it through the chamber and just a lot of the initiatives that we've rolled out. But on school board, I'm so excited because I know Fontana. I've lived this. I've on the student side, on the teacher side, and I want to talk about this pendulum shift that we've seen. And I heard you talking with the guests that were here prior about this big push for college, and I was in that push. Thank God, what I wanted to do required me to go to college. But I remember seeing at FOHI my senior year, don't get this particular, don't be a construction worker, don't go into the trade. They were dogging it, and
right, they're dogging it.
I'm like, whoa, wait a minute, that's my family,
Right.
and those are really freaking good jobs. Like,
Right.
let me tell you, I have a master's and 3 credentials, and a journeyman plumber right now is making more money than I am, like with all their benefits and everything. So these are extremely good jobs. But what I'm seeing now, it's 2024. We've rode the wave of COVID, right? Where are we at now? And I'll tell you what I see, and this is my big picture assessment. I see we're doing a great job within the school district servicing our students that are going to go to college, right? We're doing a great job finally beefing up and addressing the need for CTE programming and the trades. But what are we doing with everybody in the
In between.
middle? In
That's
the
right.
in between, exactly. And
'Cause
that's
that's
where
a
you
big
come
number.
in.
That's
That
a big
is
number.
Huge
Massive.
huge number. So I'm excited because on the chamber side, having you guys as partners, I want to roll out, this initiative where we can partner together because we have access to the business community and the students, right, and the workforce.
So let me explain to you something we want to do with
Yeah.
the Teamsters 1932 Training Center. Is we think that when it's built out to its full capacity, that the small businesses, let's say at the chamber, can when they need help at the small business, maybe a 16 or 17-year-old finding a job, that they can tap into that union household, that the kid who's 15, 16, 17 looking for a part-time job while they're going to school, then graduates into a, let's say they graduate from high school and they want to go to work at one of the union jobs, or go to work for the county or one of the cities we represent. That natural connection happens where all those pathways are laid out, and they realize, oh, I really like this, and I can actually do a career in that,
Right.
and I can make money and enjoy what I'm doing, versus being forced into a space just to do a job.
Right. And knowledge is power, right?
That's right.
And I think that how we can accomplish that is by educating them on the possibilities and opportunities that are available to them. And I think that that's a bridge that we need to gap like there's a gap there that we need to bridge.
Absolutely.
Is what I'm trying to say. And just knowledge is power. So how can we partner together and continue to do this to service
I would
every
love
student?
to come on your podcast, and here's why. Here's something that's interesting. We've had the Teamster Advantage program since 2016. So that's 8 years, and we've been promoting small business, and we have them on our show, or we have them at our functions, and we advertise. We have an app where we to all of our members, we actually send out push notifications to them. And do you know that nobody has actually propped up our program and how good it is for small business?
Wow.
Nobody, not even an elected official to this day, has said, that's a good program for small business. We should recognize a good program for them. Now, I don't know why. Now, I'm not going to run around crying foul or whining about it. Actually, I guess I am right now on the radio. but because I would love to come on the show just to talk about it, and how the Teamsters Union and this program that we've built has built a way to synergize those things in an area that benefits the small business community, benefits the community, benefits our members, and it becomes a win-win-win.
Right. Well, and everything's cyclical, right? Like if our businesses are healthy and our workers and our families are healthy, then our students are healthy, and then they're going to learn, and they're going to then in turn become productive citizens and members of our workforce, and round we go.
That's correct.
And if one part is out of balance or unhealthy, the whole system, the whole ecosystem is affected. I want to touch on this Advantage program because I remember sitting with you. I think it was right, and I think this is what happened, at least for us. It happened right during COVID. I remember sitting on the Zoom with you, and we talked about it, and then COVID happened, and then everything shut down.
Yeah.
So I think as we're
COVID did create some challenges.
It really did. But I'm telling you right now, because it's been a part of the chamber and something that we've offered on behalf of you guys. But again, I think it's just bringing that awareness. So however we can help do that in Fontana, 100%, we are so open. And I think we just need to revisit it because I think it got lost in the COVID shuffle.
Yeah, probably. I'm in like Flynn. I tell you that right now, especially with it being Fontana.
Oh, 100%.
Because, it's where I ran around as a
I
kid,
know.
I had some bumps and bruises,
Hey, but you turned out amazing, and look at all the great work that you're doing now. And you know what?
I always tell the story, being from Fontana, is I remember it's significant to me that when I could ride my skateboard from Foothill all the way to Valley on the sidewalk.
Oh my gosh!
And not have to, because back in the day, you had to ride on the street, and then there was a sidewalk for a while, and then you had to go on the street, and there was a sidewalk. Well, there was a certain point, and I was right about 14, that I could take the sidewalk all the way from Foothill. You obviously had to go across streets, when you're going across Randall or Merrill or Arrow or whatever it was. But the significance for me as a kid was, man, they got sidewalks all the way to Valley. I don't have to eat it hitting the asphalt, hitting a little rock, and hitting the dirt.
And then you had to walk all the way back.
Right? No, you skateboarded back up.
Okay, I feel like it's downhill going that way.
Well, that's if you went to the hill that went over the top. Remember back when they finally punched the road through to go over to Rubidoux?
Yes.
The bottom part of Sierra Avenue.
Yep.
Try going down that on a skateboard.
Oh,
I did that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Hey,
I ate it once. It was rough.
You're
was rough.
alive to tell the tale.
Yes. Yeah. I hurt myself pretty bad. Running around Harupa Hills. I got lots of stories.
Before all the homes were there.
Yeah,
it was
before
just
Southridge was built.
Wide open space.
Yeah,
wow.
before Southridge was built.
Wow.
Southridge was just building up and just starting to develop as I got my driver's license.
Oh my goodness.
So,
wow.
And then at that point, I'm not riding my bicycle, through the dirt out there. I'm driving a car, probably through the dirt.
Yeah.
I won't tell stories on that. So talk about your run for school board.
Sure. So I feel like it's just the culmination, like I mentioned, about where I'm at this stage of my life. And with this particular seat, they redistricted 2 years ago. So there's no incumbent. It's a wide open seat. And it literally serves the area in which I grew up. Attended elementary and junior high, and it's just I feel like just my whole life is in this.
Where'd you go to elementary at?
So the school's not there anymore, but I attended school at Fontana Christian. So where Dolores Huerta is, that was Fontana Christian. So they had an elementary and a junior high. So I went there and then went to Faux High.
Mm-hmm.
So, yep.
So, what are the things you'd like to do being on the school board?
Love it.
What about labor? How are you going to introduce labor? Obviously, getting the endorsement of the Labor Council, our local, or labor in general. We're trying to make sure that awareness around labor. You probably heard the part of the show where my son opened up the book and saw that we're called a cartel.
Sure.
Obviously, I'm not part of the cartel.
Sure.
It's like, why is there a narrative like that? Why is it in writing in a school? So at the end of the day, my point is what do you think as a school board member you could do more to help labor be, just brought up better in that environment?
Sure. And I'm going to say this because I've knocked a lot of doors. I've been out knocking doors every day for the last 6 weeks. The majority of the folks in my district, I would say, are part of a labor union. This is blue collar, working class America, just how I grew up. And so I feel like that representation of, it's just really my district and knowing my people within my district. That's why they're going to be electing me, is to advocate and represent them on their behalf. I am their voice at the school board level. And so I think it first starts with, you have to know who you're representing if you're going to represent them, first of all. So that's why I've been out every day, 7 days a week, learning and understanding and asking those questions to see what those concerns are and the lives of the people I'm going to represent. And then taking that, because it's very similar to my background and my story growing up, taking that to the school board level, but also leveraging the work that I'm already doing at the chamber in terms of workforce and partnering our business community, our educational partners. We've done numerous things with our business community in Fontana Unified with the CTE and the career days and all of that. So it's work that I'm already doing. I just want to expand on it, and being on the school board will help me expand on that platform that I've already built. But I want to talk about that middle group that we're talking about, because I don't see a plan in place, which is what I'm going to bring to the table. Like I said, we're doing an amazing job servicing the students that are going to college. We're doing a great job with our CTE, and we're going to continue to beef that up. But what can we now bring to the table, which is why I love the partnership that you and I already have from the chamber and the Teamster side, but how can we then implement that not only to service our business community in Fontana,
High school to high paying jobs.
100%.
Yep.
Now let's roll that out. So let's get some job fair type events where we can get the kids out and talk about what are your rights as a worker. Let's talk about unionization. What are good working conditions? What are benefits?
She got my vote.
But it starts with that educational piece. But I will champion that, because it's, like I said, I'm a proud product of it. That is my district, and I know that, and I will bring that to the table. And with great partners like you and other members of our community, we're going to make it happen.
Man, it sounds like a plan. I think Mark, Robert, what do you think? You think we should just turn the show over to Daniel?
They're giving us the thumbs up.
Right. Go host. Yeah. I got to miss next week because of I'm obviously the national director for the Amazon work that's going on where workers are organizing across the country, and I got to be in Kentucky for something next week, so I won't be able to do it. So you want to run the show next week?
I got you. Done. Give me the headphones and the mic.
She's
we're
like,
good.
I'm not afraid of a mic. Let's go. Let's go. So what else you want to talk about?
Oh, what do I want to talk about?
Yeah, what do you want to talk about?
I want to talk about what the chamber's doing now. I took over officially as the executive director. I've probably been in the capacity now going on my second year. And when I took over, our chamber had about 300.
Is there a cycle on how long you can be the executive director, or is that as long as the board holds you?
As long as the board holds
Gotcha.
me.
Okay.
And remember, the Miss Fontana pageant used to be run through the chamber. So I was all of 17 and a half, 18 years old coming into the chamber when I won Miss Fontana. So I've been around the chamber for a long time and just attending the events. And I've also been engaged in Miss Fontana for the last 23
My
years.
aunt is a past president of the Chamber of Fontana. It'd have to go all the way back to, I think it was 82 or 83.
Oh, wow.
Yes. She's
Wow.
passed, but yeah.
I love that. A lot of history there.
Yep.
So we are moving and a shaking now, let me tell you. And I think it comes
A little
down
bit different town than 82.
It sure is. It
Right.
sure is. But since I've taken over, and that's why I stress the importance of having people that live in the community, grew up in the community, know the community, make excellent leaders in the community because we understand the culture, but we've lived it. And not to say that, you know, someone from the outside can't come in. You can, 100%. I just think having that history and that rapport with the community is important, especially when you're trying to accomplish large initiatives and make big changes, which is what I've